Hey everybody, welcome back to Havoc Maker Studio. Hoping you guys are still having a great Wednesday. So quick update. I was going to talk about the RPG, but this is like my 8th time doing this video and I got really long-winded. So I'm going to do, I think it's time to go ahead and do a video that talks about the RPG, and that since a lot of you have talked to me offline about it or through Discord or text messages and whatnot. So I think it's time to go and do a separate video for that. So I'm not going to talk about any updates for that because a lot of you are like, what are you talking about? And also, you guys can see behind me, I got the green screen. I have been working on the editing software to include the green screen, mainly to really enhance my videos overall, get some better editing in there, or have some editing in there, and some green screen effects for a couple different type of segments I've been wanting to try doing. And since this is a one-man show, I've having to go real slow because I've got working on painting commissions and working on my own RPG and doing this stuff. So a lot going on here on the channel. So today I want to talk about, at least right now, we already talked about the old world in a previous video. Let's talk about, from Atomic Mass Games, the other character that's going to be coming out in December, Pyro. Now, Pyro will be joining us alongside the Blob on December 9th of this year, alongside the Johann Schmidt, the Red Skull, and the Hydra Troopers. Those drop on December 9th, and then coming, I think, the second week of January is when we'll see the Hydra tank for the Ultimate Encounter, and that box gets broken down into actual several different pieces for terrain, and then you got the Hydra tank box. So some really cool stuff coming down the line. Let's talk about Pyro. I think Pyro is actually a really cool character, a lot better than I thought he was going to be. Let's actually blow that up. There we go. I was a little nervous because Blob had some really cool things, and yes, some of you guys, I think Dark Cow and a few others pointed out that why use the Blob when you can use the Lizard, who is way more efficient. Totally agree. I just thought the Blob was cool, and I'm really turned off by the character, but I like some of his cool abilities. So I think they did kind of a good job, but there is a more efficient character. So I'm putting Blob right now. Now that I had some more time to think about it and read you guys' responses, I'm putting him in the same category, and I still don't know how good the Winter Guard are, but my impressions still, the Winter Guard are meh. So I'm going to put him over in the Winter Guard section as a meh right now. We can change that later, but I don't see him being used often. But Pyro, on the other hand, really tickles my fancy here. So Pyro, St. John Allardyce, I think that's how you say his name. I believe he is an Australian character in the comics. I want to say I've heard his voice actor twice now. One with who knows? It could have been a Australian, or could have been a British accent. I think at one time we even had Wolverine back with Spider-Man and the Amazing Friends. I think he's Canadian, but he had a Australian, a very thick Australian dialect. Nothing wrong with that. It's just funny that, hey, this is our Canadian Wolverine with the Australian accent. I don't know how that works. Maybe he just immigrated over, and I don't know. Anyways, so we got Pyro. Kind of I've always thought of him as kind of a throwaway character. He's never really impressed me until recently in all the Krakoa, I think that's how you pronounce it, stuff going on with the Mutant Island and Aarakocra, or however you pronounce it, over on Mars. He's they kind of did a good shift with him, and he's become a pretty interesting character, especially with the Marauders, when he was hanging around the Marauders, and now I don't know what he's doing, but I really like the character now. So let's explore him for the tabletop. So surprisingly, he has a 3 physical defense, a 4 energy defense, and a 3 mental defense. I get the mental defense. I get the physical defense; those are kind of standard. The 4 energy defense, I mean, it makes sense that him being a energy manipulator, fire manipulator guy. It's just surprising that the blob, who has is able to withstand optic blasts and lightning strikes from Storm and Cyclops, which are energy attacks. He's able to shrug those off, at least in the comics and the cartoons, but he has a 2 energy defense. It feels like Atomic Mass Games dropped the ball on that one. It should have at least have been a 3 on his energy defense, but that's neither here nor there. The Pyro has a 4, which is good, especially since he only has 5 health on his healthy side and on his dazed side or his injured side. So he is a little squishy, and even though that looks normal, we're going to get into the rest of the squishiness. He's a very inexpensive character at a 3 threat, and for what you get from him as a 3 threat, he's really good. He is size 2, that's normal, and a medium movement, cool, pretty good. Right now, everything about him looks just like he should be as a normal character, without like superhuman endurance or strength or unbreakable skin, that sort of thing, or agility and whatnot. He looks fine. Just fine the way he is. So he's got 3 attacks. They're all energy attacks. His first 2 are builders. His last one is a spender. The builder attacks are those that you build power, which you use power for some of your, it's basically a currency, if you're not familiar, that you use to use some of your abilities, some of your superpowers and whatnot. So the first one is Fire Blast, really good power right off the bat. It is range 4, which is really good because you have a maximum of range 5, which is, I want to say range 5 is like 10 to 11 inches. So this is around 8 or 9 inches. One of these years, I'm going to measure these out and go, okay, that's this range attack. Regardless, that is a very good range attack on a 3x3 board. So range 4, 5 dice of damage potentially, and a 0 power cost. After you do your attack, you're going to gain 1 point of power. So congratulations. Then if you get a wild symbol on any of those attack dice, you're going to inflict Incinerate. And the only way that you won't inflict Incinerate is if they're immune to it or you don't roll the wild symbol. So very likely, since very few people have immunity to Incinerate, you're going to set somebody on fire. And if you don't get them with that attack and set them on fire, you can get them with Flame Jet. Flame Jet is your second attack. It's a beam 3 attack, which means everybody along that beam are going to get hit. It's only a 4 dicer, but that's not too bad. It's a 0 power cost, and you get 1 point of power after the attack is resolved. If you rolled wild symbol, you're hitting them with Incinerate. So we got our 2 attacks with a chance to do Incinerate. Not too bad, guys. Then we got his third attack. This is his spender, meaning he has to spend power to do this. This is the Inferno. It's only range 2. Excuse me. It is a 7 dice and 3 power cost. After the attack is resolved, you don't have to worry about rolling a wild symbol. You're going to inflict Incinerate as long as they're not immune to it. Before you do that damage, though, any other enemy characters that are within range 2 of your target, so this means they could be farther away than your normal range 2 attack, they're going to suffer 1 point of damage as long as they're within range 2 of the target character. That is really good. You are passing around damage just freely. So he is a great damage dealer, already inflicting great chances to inflict status symbols and reach out and touch people outside of your range. So his first superpower is Firewall, and this is something that's really going to boost, in my opinion, boost him to be in your roster, because already you got some great damage dealing. But for 2 power, you can choose an enemy character within range 3 of him. That chosen character gains root and slow special conditions. And not a lot of people have, I can't think of any characters, I'm sure there are some, that are immune to root and slow, or both of them. So that right there is very bad. You could conceivably in one turn inflict incinerate, root, and slow on a enemy character, which is a bad day. So he's got a little bit of crowd control and great damage dealing, and really stuff that inhibits people from using their abilities or moving around or using everything in their arsenal. Really good so far, like way better than a 3 threat should be. I think what makes him that 3 threat keeps him down low is because he is a little squishy. Get to that in a second. The next ability is Stoke the Flames. It's still a superpower. It does not require an action, but it does cost 3 power every time you do this. During the next action, attack action that you make, you get to add 2 dice to this attack roll. So if you've got 6 power laying around, guys, which you could have that conceivably by turn 3, maybe even turn 2, you could be going Fire Blast with 7 dice, and then turn around and do Fire Blast again for 7 dice. You're going to be getting 2 power back, so it's really only going to cost you 4 power, and you get your power at the beginning of that turn. So you really, it's a cheap ability, and be able to launch out 2 range 4 long distance 7 dice attacks or 2 flame jets, and it's only beam 3, but it's still, those are long range attacks, and boosting those dice up is really great. And then his last one is the innate ability for fire manipulation. So when this character targets an enemy character with an attack, after you resolve that attack, if that target character already has incinerate, so you can, if you got Fire Blast, you already inflicted incinerate, and you're going to be doing another attack, this character can choose another enemy character within range 2 of the target character that has incinerate, right? You've already got incinerate on that character. Find another character within range 2 of that one, and they gain incinerate. You pass incinerate around like it's candy. It's like, you get an incinerate, you get an incinerate, you all get incinerates. This is a great character. Still a little bit on the squishy side, but overall, the rest of his statistics are really great. He's got a great stat card, and even his defenses are they're average. But him not having this, where the squishy part comes in, he has nothing really to mitigate damage or manipulate his defense dice rolls. So if you've got some characters that are able to bodyguard him, like Okoye, for example, or you got some team tactic cards to reduce damage or give him some defense rolls, that's something you might want to consider. I can see Pyro really making it to a lot of teams, even if you're not using mutants. He has got some really, really good abilities here for damage and crowd control. Not the absolute best out there, but for his threat cost of a 3, he is a pretty gosh darn good character. And yeah, you might have to throw in a 2-point character to protect him, maybe, or throw in a extra team tactic card to keep him safe, especially if he's going to be a key component to whatever your squad is. Other than that, I think he's a great character. Well, way better than the Blob, and I would say most of like the Winter Guard that came out recently, definitely better than most of the Winter Guard. This is a great character. I'm actually excited about this. I don't want the Blob out of that box now, but I'm probably going to go ahead and get this box just for Pyro. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like this character? Is he does he look as good as I think he does, or am I missing something and he is just a trash character? I guess it's anybody's opinion. He might be a trash character. He might be actually a way more amazing character. It's how you play the game, and your own perception of that. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of Pyro. Is he going to make it to your roster, or is he just going to be another one of those characters you just push off to the side? Anyways, you guys have yourself a great Wednesday, and I'll chat with you guys later. See ya.